The T400 is a great entry-level GPU, but how does it do in esports games? Well, let's answer that today, shall we? It's no secret that I love the T series of GPUs. Why? Why? Well, because they're good GPUs at a good price, that's why. It's basically the cheapest new GPU that you can buy that'll get you up in gaming for about $100. This T400 beat out the GT 1030 in my tests, not just in terms of how powerful it is, but in terms of how many FPS per dollar you get. I've linked that video in the description below, and I did another video on the T400 where I tested a bunch of games. Link in the description below for that one. And spoiler alert, it did really well at everything I threw at it, but I got lots of questions about some games that I didn't test, like CSGO and Apex Legends, you know, eSports style games. And that was a big oversight on my part, because this GPU is a great choice for a budget esports gaming PC, and people who play those games are often looking for power-efficient, budget-friendly options that they can slap in any old PC and get gaming. Because they're not the most demanding games in the world, and you can lower settings to get higher FPS, and often these gamers want to stream as well. So can the T400 play popular esports titles and handle streaming? Well, that's what we're going to answer today. We're going to test the T400 in a bunch of popular esports games. CSGO, Valorant, Warzone, DoTA 2, Rocket League, Apex Legends, Fortnite. I hope I got all the big ones. Let me know in the comments if there are any esports style games that you wish I showed here, and I'll try to cover them in another video. Before we get started, let's quickly talk about streaming. The short answer is that yes, you can stream with this GPU. These T-series GPUs like the T400 are actually the first low-profile GPUs to have NVIDIA's 7th generation NVENC hardware encoding with B-frame support, which means that it can encode video while you play. You can use this to stream or record your gameplay with barely any impact on the performance of your games. In fact, I recorded all the gameplay you'll see today using the NVENC encoding on the T400 while I was playing the games. No issues at all. Obviously, the rest of your system will need to be spec'd to handle streaming. Definitely running with at least 16 gigabytes of RAM and a decent processor will set you up for success. But as for the T400 itself, yeah, it's good to go. Capturing gameplay, streaming, no problems at all. So with that out of the way, without further delay, let's play some games. Starting off with the most esportsy title I could think of, CSGO. This is like the OG esports game. We're running at 1080p here, maxed out settings, where I'm gonna target 60 plus FPS with all the titles today, but mostly going with the lowest settings to get those FPS as high as they can. And I'll lower the resolution if needed to boost the FPS if we drop below 60. No issues on CSGO though. I got about 80 frames per second at these settings. I'm just in a bot match here, by the way. For some reason, my other recordings didn't work. This is the only game that gave me problems, but changing the recording frame rate fixed the issue. But by that point, I was just sick of getting my butt kicked online, so I just fired up a bot match to show you guys the performance. I suck at this game when playing against humans. That's actually going to be a theme of this video, me sucking at esports games. Here's Valorant, another game I suck at, but the game ran great on the T400. I'm running at 1080p, high settings, and I got an average of 95 FPS. This game is super well optimized. It runs on almost anything. Even old PCs with like integrated graphics can play this game. But being able to run a popular new esports game at 1080p with high settings, that means this T400 is definitely a viable choice for a budget-friendly gaming PC. The game looks really great too, as you can see. I mean, it's not full of fancy special effects and high-res textures or anything, but the actual art direction of the game really makes up for the lack of fancy effects. I really enjoy playing this game when I test it for these videos. Every time I do, I say I should play it more, but I always forget about it. That's probably gonna happen again here, and I'll still suck the next time I test it for a video. Well, that's kind of my style, you know? Speaking of me sucking at esports games, let's have a round of Call of Duty Warzone. Running at 1080p, but I had to turn all the settings down to the lowest possible settings at 66% resolution scale, which is about 900p, essentially. And even then we got a VRAM warning. The game started fine though, and it was playable. Not amazing. I only got 40 FPS on average by the end of this run, but I did play a while, and yeah, the low resolution made seeing things in the distance hard, and that sub 60 FPS didn't feel really competitive. I have to admit, it wasn't the worst experience in the world, and I did have fun playing. Pretty ugly at these settings though, not gonna lie. I was right on the edge of playable. I could see lots of people giving this a big no, but I did enjoy playing, even at these settings. And I didn't do good, as you can see. I'm a total noob at this game. I have no idea what I'm doing. I can play Call of Duty games and Battle Royale games, but there's something about this game that it just baffles me. I got my butt kicked pretty quickly by this amazing smoke guy, so I figured I'd watch him for a while, see if I could pick up some pointers, and I certainly did. Look at him zipping around, flying through the air like a majestic bird. That's where I went wrong, I think. I wasn't nearly majestic enough. Yeah, amazing smoke. Hey, this guy's pretty good. He seems like he knows what he's doing. He got some good kills. I wonder if he's playing on a T400 too. Here's some DoTA 2. Running at 1080p with medium high settings, and I ended up getting 73 FPS average. I'm just watching an online game, by the way. This game I have no skills in whatsoever. Like none. I like watching it. I sort of understand the basics of how to play, but as for actually playing it, I just embarrass myself. Nobody wants me on their team. Trust me. I watch the International DoTA tournament every year. It's a fun game to watch, and I understand just enough to know what's going on. It's exciting to watch when the action heats up and you get a feel for the different strategies that are being used. It runs perfect here, 73 FPS. I don't know if this is the kind of game you would really benefit from a super high FPS. For getting those super accurate last hits or timing your specials perfectly maybe. You can definitely get the FPS much higher on the T400 if you lower the settings a bit. I don't even think you'd have to go down from 1080p. It just runs so good here, I doubt there'd be an issue. It looks great too at these settings. The graphics aren't very advanced, but the art direction is just beautiful. Moving on to Rocket League, 1080p maxed out settings, and we got an average of 80 FPS after this game. It ran super well, no issues at all. I mean, I know it's not the biggest game, it's just some cars in a stadium, but it really does look great when the settings are all maxed out. And we're getting 80 FPS here, so yeah, no problem at all running Rocket League on the T400. This GPU is perfect for this sort of esports game. Big new games with fancy graphics like Call of Duty Warzone, yeah, they'll struggle and some will be barely playable. But the simpler games are gonna give you no problems. Actually didn't do too bad here. I got a few goals, and our team won. I feel like pretty proud of myself, not gonna lie. Apex Legends, 1080p with mostly low settings, dynamic resolution scale set to 75 FPS. So it ended up playing at around 900p as far as I can tell. Still looked pretty good at these settings. I could at least see what was going on in the distance, unlike Call of Duty Warzone. And the actual graphics looked pretty good still, unlike Call of Duty Warzone. This is another game that I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I played around in the training area first, and then I got into a match. My team died pretty quick, but it was fun while it lasted. I could see myself getting into this game. I like the way the game looks and feels. I just need to figure out the basics. I should watch some beginner's guides or tutorials or something.
I'm getting shot at.
And now, the game that every esports player loves more than anything, Microsoft Solitaire. This game is capped at 60 FPS, but the T400 had no problem maintaining a constant 60 FPS, even when the action heated up. And check it out, victory! Just look at that awesome animation. If that doesn't impress you, then I don't know. Subscribe. Yeah, do that. That's always fun. Yay! And last but not least, Fortnite, ladies and gentlemen. This is my favorite game in the list today. I actually play this with my little cousins. They come over and we play Fortnite and have lots of fun. Makes me feel like I'm a little kid playing this game. Because it's a game for kids, right? Running at 1080p. But 80% resolution scale, which is like 960p, I suppose. I used a custom settings mix, mostly medium with a few low, but epic view distance. By the end of this round, I got 77 FPS. And I could have got that much higher by turning off shadows or running in performance mode, but I really hate the way this game looks when the shadows are off. I don't mind playing at this slightly lower FPS if it means it's not as ugly. I know most eSports people who play this like to turn the graphics right down so they can get the maximum frame rate. That's fine for them. I'm no Fortnite pro or anything, so what do I know? I did win the match though. Victory Royale, baby. Maybe I would have won slightly better if I had more FPS to work with, but I think 77 FPS is plenty for noobs like me, who occasionally win the match by pure luck. I didn't know what to expect going into this video. I was expecting some games to work well and some to not. I think that pretty much the only game that I'd be hesitant to recommend on this GPU is Call of Duty Warzone. There's just too many sacrifices in terms of visuals, and the FPS didn't come out so great. So that would be the one that I'd say don't bother if you have a T400. Or don't buy a T400 if you want to play that game. Everything else was surprisingly playable though. Most stuff had great performance. 60 plus FPS across the board, and being able to play lots of games at high settings. Esports style games tend to be on the simpler side, and lots of time esports gamers like to play on monitors with high refresh rates like 144Hz or 240Hz. The T400 probably won't get that high on the FPS unless you go pretty low on the resolution or settings. But you gotta keep in mind the price. This is a $100 GPU. You could slap this in any old office PC and you have yourself a competent esports gaming PC that didn't cost you an arm and a leg and an ear and a toe, as my mom would say. Well, there you have it. Is the T400 a good GPU for esports titles? Well, yeah, I think it is. But what do you think? Do you think the performance was good enough to justify using this to play esports games? What sorts of esports games do you like to play? Any big ones that I missed? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And while you're down there, give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Or a thumbs down if you didn't like it for some reason. Subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos. As always, I'm TechDweeb. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Alright, what do we got here? 2 could go over there. And then add the 3, the 4. Oh, this is going so good. Look, I just uncovered these. Yeah, we'll put the 9 over there. Okay, watch this, guys. You ready? 5, boom. Oh, and then the 7 go there. And we'll get this one too. Oh, my, wow, this is going great. I can't believe it. What's next? Uh-oh, are we going to be able to do it? Oh man, I'm gonna need some donations if I'm gonna make it through this. Everybody in the stream, donate right now so that I can finish this match.